Well, hi there. This is John Anthony Francis Wilcox, and today is Saturday, the 30th of August, 2025. And first, I say a belated happy birthday to my dear friend Lori, whose birthday was the 28th. And my brain was elsewhere, and I forgot to wish you a happy birthday, so I wish you one now. I will also rectify that when I get off of here. And so, what's this week been for me? Well, I've done some work and I've done some interesting things too. I did a visual, almost like comic panels piece about, I guess you'd say, pronouns slash identity. And I did that on my prog sheet. And to many of you, I've sent a link to that. Um, to my friend Joyce, I want to tell you something. We had discussed when I do films, I talk about a film uh, about mentioning where you can view things. And I found that that complicates matters for me because, for me, as the person creating the content, YouTube is not fond of me recommending other places to go away from YouTube. However, I thought about that, and the solution is, for example, if I do a film, you can comment and say, hey, you people should check some of these things out on Canopy is a site that's great. So you can do that, and then it gets done. How's that? Uh, so that's a solution I was looking for. Speaking of solutions, something I did today is I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about the horrible state our country is in. And people can say politically, they don't want politics, and people complain about if I mention politics in my things. So let's keep it to social things, okay? Social things should not be made political. Treatment of children, for example. That shouldn't be, we shouldn't have a side that goes, oh no, it's okay to abuse children. Should we? Is that a political issue? Because it should not be. So I say that because I was thinking about over the planet and things that we could do. When I grew up, not to sound like an old fuddy duddy, get off my lawn 65-year-old guy, I am 65, so I suppose all that's true, but you can go on my lawn such as it is. But I grew up thinking about how America was number one in so many things, in education, which now we're what, like number ridiculous. And, we used to have things. I remember when they would have the Olympics, we would always look down on Russia because they use professional athletes. And now that's pretty much all we use. You know, well, go imagine being just a guy off the street that's a good athlete that wants to get on the Olympic basketball team. Forget it, my friend. It's only professionals at this point. So, anyway, we used to aspire, and I thought to myself, imagine, and this is the thing I just did and put it up on my DeviantArt. Um, what did I say? Imagine if the United States worked diligently to solve the issues with the ozone layer and pollution in our air, water, and land. Imagine if we worked at those solutions and achieved some solutions, how we would truly lead the world. It would be a beautiful thing for the entire world. And you go, why aren't we doing that? Why are we, in fact, we're in a time where we want to get rid of wind energy because someone who, you know who I'm talking about, in one of his golf courses in another country near our windmills, and he asked them to remove them, and they said no. So that's now why he says all these outrageous things. I want you to think about something. So imagine windmills in Iowa, Kentucky. All right. So you're imagining that there's big windmills. There's a whole bunch of them, and they're providing power and they're running. What whales are they killing? Because he says they're driving the whales nuts and they're killing the whales. You know, and the answer is, of course, they're not. Oh, and they're killing all the birds. No, they're not. I mean, if a bird runs into a wind turbine, it's the same as if a bird flies in and hits your window and dies, or flies into the turbine of an airplane. Are we getting rid of airplanes? No. And solar. He wants to get rid of all solar and replace it with coal, which would just further pollute our already far too polluted air, water, and land. And so not only is he doing that, he's also getting rid of the agencies that keep track of things and report on the pollution of the air, water, and land. So it's like, well, if we don't report on it, then it doesn't exist. So I was thinking about that, and it's like, that to me, moving forward, whoever's next, that should be a priority. Let's do these things that actually help the world. Forget if you want to call it, if there are people that are bothered by the thought of like climate change or things like that, they think that's a phrase they don't like. So I guess I would say if someone has a pro pollution argument, please give it to me. Please tell me how I benefit from more pollution, how the children benefit. Right now, we're in a time where children, we took a 4-year-old girl getting cancer treatment in a hospital and took her out of the hospital and deported her. What crime was she committing? She was a 4-year-old girl with cancer. And that's where we are. And forgive me if it offends you, but that's what you're supporting if you support this administration. You are supporting the sort of behavior. And we're getting rid of these gangs. What gang was she part of? And how many times am I seeing, well, here's someone, they were born in this country. They're not of the ethnicities that he hates. They're white, because that's all that our current government goes towards, just white people. But they're trying to get rid of all the people, and then let's close down their history. Our history is not supposed to be like the Smithsonian. It's supposed to represent truth. The truth. These things happen. Some things are good, some things are bad. Someone put up recently, I was looking at it, I thought, well, there's a significant thing, and this was from years ago, probably the 80s, 90s, and it was this guy he was saying how never admit if you make a mistake, always find a way to blame someone else. You don't make mistakes. What? That goes back to when he was on some religious thing and they were asking him what he had to ask God for forgiveness for, and he said that he had never done anything in his life that he needed to ask forgiveness for. And anyway, that's the end of the craziness, okay? So, a couple of other things. First off, got this in today. This is a wonderful sampler, a Japanese sampler from a Japanese label called Tea Palette, which is actually a label that Tower Records Japan owns. And this is a sampler of different Tea Palette acts like Nejiko and Lyrical School, doing covers of songs from the Pizzicato Five. And any of you that know me for any length of time know how much I love that band. Glad to get this. Got it dirt cheap. Thanks to my friend Bob for picking this up for me. And also, I want to talk about this. So this is Versace Blue Jeans, one of my favorite colognes, eau de toilette, whatever you want to call it. One of the good stinking stuff. Okay? This is some good stuff. I'll put some on. Look at that. Live. We'll spray a little on right now. And I'll tell you, when I've been out, I've gotten compliments from so many people wearing this. And I bring this up to bring one that I don't have here on camera, but I have in the other room. Versace, who made this, Gianni Versace. And this is very affordable, by the way. This is like a $20 thing of cologne. It'll last you a better part of a year or more. He also used to make one called Green Jeans, and I have some in the other room that I've been using very sparingly over the years. I've had it many years, and it still smells fantastic. I just was spraying a little earlier. And I thought, gee, I want to get another bottle of this. Let me go look it up. And they don't make it anymore. And I looked on eBay, and for a little, 2.5 ounce bottle, they start at 99 bucks. Yikes. So if any of you are familiar with Green Jeans, Versace Green Jeans, and if you know any cologne that's an equivalent to it, let me know. Even if you see that someone makes like a fake of it, that would be cool. Like, I can't afford the fake Jean Paul Gaultier for men, but I have a knockoff. It smells pretty much just like it. It smells almost like a candy necklace, which is cool. So I'm all over the place. I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but I'm all over the place. I still want a meatball grinder. I'm hungry for a meatball grinder, but I cannot afford them. What else? Oh, my sister did me a nice this week. She knew what a hard time I've been having, so she brought me some lunch meat. I made, and some Chaves Portuguese rolls. So that was nice. It's all gone now, but I got 6 sandwiches out of it. Oh boy, that was a treat during my afternoons, and one night later at night too. So still hungry because I haven't been having big meals because there are no big meals to be had currently. We hope that situation improves. Yeah, I don't want to be a broken record about such things. I'm sorry about that. Let me think of something else that's been going on. I had a weird dream the other night, and it involved money, and it involved a $12 bill. What does that even mean? And I've had a lot of dreams with my mom in them this week. Just like going somewhere, picking me up. We were going somewhere. Again, she might have been either bringing me to the train. That's the thing that happens a lot. My folks are either picking me up from the train to New York or dropping me off to take the train to New York. But more often than not, picking me up. And yet I'm in the dream, in the car with them, thinking about how I'm going to be picked up. What does that mean? Why does that mean what it means? I'm taking off these glasses because I can. Because I live wild and on the edge like this. So, also, I think I mentioned last week I had just gotten in a package from my friend Joyce of the delicious Silvio sauce. And we made some mini rigatoni with a jar of it, and it was delightful. And it went almost immediately. There was like a half a dish left for the next day, which I immediately ate. So, but we're rationing it out. So this week we'll have some kind of pasta, but it won't be that sauce. So it lasts longer. I got some cheap sauce. And I'll doctor up a little. I could take a cheap sauce and make it taste really good. You just got to know how to do that. So that's the half Italian side of me and the learning how to cook side. is I can do a little bit of doctoring when necessary. And so, still working away at my site, doing the things I've said, and haven't heard from many people this week at all, but that's okay. Gearing up 2 weeks from today, I'll be at an event once again up in Hartford with my friend Pete. That for those of you who ask, they're like, if you're so broke, John, how are you going to these things? Because I go in for free. Because of my website and for my years working in different entertainment businesses, I write about it. I get in touch with the event and say, I'd like to come and cover your event. I will need 2 tickets because I have to come with someone to help me with my wheelchair. And 9 times out of 10, they graciously do so. And in this case, they were more than happy to do so. So I'll be going in next Saturday, going through the events, and Pete has promised to buy us some food on the way back, so that's nice. And it will be a jolly time at the Retro Gaming Expo at the Connecticut Convention Center in Hartford. So I'm looking forward to that in 2 weeks. Um, what else? What am I forgetting? I've been getting a great response to this week's songs. I've even been getting a great response to this week's prayer reading. There you go. There, I'll finish with this. So, when Grace Mary came by to bring me communion, and I felt very sad because she was telling me I never knew she had lupus, and she was just recently in the hospital with a problem with her heart and lungs. So, God bless her for coming by. She had to use a cane, a beautiful cane, to bring me communion. But she also brought 2 books with her because her husband is a deacon at my church, at Assumption Church. And with these books, like I asked her, she said, tell him what one you want. So I asked for Revelation, but he also gave one on what they call the Minor Prophets. So what it is it has the entirety of Revelation, line by line, in there, the Catholic version. And it breaks it down. Here's what that means. Here's what they're, and it's not guesswork. It's this, like if you're reading, say, Isaiah, and it mentions a land, it lets you know what that land is and where that land is. And it's sort of like, it's an annotated thing. And I found it fascinating what I've read so far. So I'm only going to read some because I think as I read the Bible, it should be what I get from the Bible, not what anyone suggests that I ought to get from the Bible. So, just saying that. That's it for today. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.